All right, guys, back at the 203 KB Farms. Best time of the year is when all your hard work comes together. We're about 2.5 weeks out from dove season, 3 weeks from teal season. We're starting to turn some water on the WRP units, brush hogging some sunflowers for dove season, just getting ready for the season. Should be awesome.
So officially season's in, getting into full swing here. Dove opened up about a week ago, had a pretty good opening day hunt. And teal just opened up this weekend. We ended up with a 10-man on opening morning, which is fantastic. Not quite as great on the second morning, but still pretty great. But it's been interesting. We had a sunflower field looking wonderful. We were calling it Little Argentina because we had so many doves in it. And about a week before season, 3 or 4 days, all the doves seemed to move out. So did okay on dove, but just behind those doves came a whole bunch of teal, and they loaded up into the wetland pool, and they just traded back and forth all morning long. So yeah, we've got bean harvest coming up in probably a month or so. We're gonna get a whole bunch of rip gut, start brushing our big blinds over at the 203, and then the other blinds out here. And we are excited for things to come.
Hey guys, here we are at the 203. It's the best time of the year, harvest time. We're about 3.5 weeks out from the opener of Missouri North Zone duck season. Just a quick recap of what happened this year. We got in early, mid-May. Well, planted the corn first, came back, planted beans around those strips of corn, and we got 2 or 3 flooding rains, had to come back in, replant. Some spots made it fine, other spots didn't, and we've just been on the struggle bus this year. They were underwater 4 to 5 times, and then, as luck would have it, after the end of July, quit raining. So the most crucial point of the year for soybeans is August and September to fill the bean pods and make the most yield. And while we didn't get any rain, so that brought our yield down. And now, since it's been so hot and dry, the pods are shrinking up and actually splitting open, and walking around there's beans laying all over the ground. And so I estimate we're losing 3 to 5 bushel just from that per acre, and the yield's been pretty disappointing. We're making around 30. I'm thinking here this last part of this field's going to make a little better, so hopefully the yields go up. But here we go.
All right, guys, we're back at the 2 A-frames that we put in over at the 203. I know Cody kind of hit on these a little bit. It took us probably 2 or 3 weeks of planning, going back and forth with Cody. The idea of this blind is to mimic the Hi-Vert A-frame. So once we brush this thing, the brush should stack right over the top of it, just like we do on our Hi-Vert blind. It's probably 3 weeks before season. We're just gonna finish it up. We got some roll roofing here. Once we roll this all out, it should be waterproof, and then they'll start the brushing process, and we'll just basically put a bunch of rip gut on it and then sprinkle in some corn for contrast, and then we'll be ready for the season. One interesting feature of it, we opted to not run dogs on the inside of the blind just for safety reasons. And we're actually going to run our Elevate dog stands on the side. It leaves us more room for hunters inside the blind. It's 26 foot long by 6.5 foot wide. We should be able to run 10 guys on the inside, which is nice. And then we can run a dog on each side, and each dog will have their own dog stand. So it's kind of a nice thing, nice little touch to the blind, and should allow us a little more room for the guys on the inside.
We're going to go on a little tour today and see how things are done here. Can you tell us a little bit about Forest Keeling?
Well, sure, Cody. Thanks for coming out to visit us today. Forest Keeling is a native plant grower, and we grow about 360 species of native plants and produce just north of 2 million seedlings a year here at the nursery. We are really proud of the things we do to help the environment.
And it's gorgeous. This is located just probably less than a mile or two from where the farms are located. And we are here today to tour the facility, but to learn a little bit about trees, specifically trees that will grow in wet, saturated conditions. So we're going to go on in and see how the place operates.
Okay.
What we're trying to apply down at 203 in Kings Bend, we're trying to provide screening, which is basically to keep the ducks out of line of sights and being disturbed. The more comfortable they are in the wetland, more likely they are to come back and build basically volume of ducks there. The other things we're looking for are flood tolerance that we've mentioned before, but also mass or food. So acorns are, they're a seed to grow next year's crop, but they're also nutrients and food that all sorts of wildlife love, especially ducks. So we're down at what bay and location are we at?
So this is Bay 77, just in the back part of our container operation.
And you've got on your cell phone, you've got a map and layout of the entire nursery, is that right?
I've got listed out the map, and then I've also got listed out what plants are in each bay throughout the entire nursery.
Cool. And our discussion earlier was based on how far, basically the flood tolerance of these trees, and we've narrowed it down to, I think, a group of oaks, and then these are bald cypress, right?
Yep, these are bald cypress. We've collected all the seed from our bald cypress grove up at the front of the nursery.
Cool. Bald cypress are very, very flood tolerant, is what I've been informed.
Yes, they can tolerate heavy flooding throughout the entire year.
Bucks Unlimited oak?
Oh, this is Bucks Unlimited, so it's a swamp white.
Yep.
But the University of Missouri introduced Bucks Unlimited about 10 years ago. And it's a real prolific selection of a swamp white that has abundance of acorn production.
And flood tolerant? Very flood tolerant?
Yeah.
Very cool. And here you have a patented method for root production.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
The RPM method is multi-step. It's a methodology patent, and there are 12 distinct steps that involve air pruning, air root pruning. And when you prune a taproot, either mechanically or by air, which is done by having a bottomless pot and planted on a raised bench, and the air circulates under the bench, and when it comes into contact with the taproot, it frustrates it, it kills the taproot, and then it just causes the lateral roots to explode. Right there.
So that's it. The acorn that the plant was born from.
That's correct.
It's like a shell of a dinosaur or a chicken.
That was where all the food and energy came to produce this.
And we're going to go see where, we're going to do this in reverse. We're going to go see where they plant the seeds.
Yeah. So these are willow oak. And
That looks an awful lot like a willow.
it's a willow oak. And again, a great duck tree. Great for duck food. It's a small acorn, and they love them. Here, you can see the size of the acorn.
So we are in, these are grow houses?
These are propagation houses.
Propagation houses. So this is where the plant life begins at this farm.
It begins here. Everything is seeded into this kind of propagation tray, which is bottomless. You can see it's got
Perforated.
Yeah, and you can see all these little things here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the air is pruning the taproot.
So the taproot protrudes through the perforation, and when the air hits it, a sustained air hits it, then
It's
it
just like
kills it.
it's a
So it's self
air pruning.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
I thought it was a machine that cut it and.
No, yeah, I mean you can do it that way, but this is, this is what was a lot of this work was developed here at the nursery, and you can see it.
Air pruning.
It's still air pruning. No, I should be able to pull that one out.
There you go. I'll be damned.
So there's no taproot.
So it's the lateral roots you said, and they just kind of create a big ball here, and this is a tight bunch of roots, and so the taproot's then gone, and they can expand and absorb tons of nutrients and water very rapidly.
And that's why they grow faster, and
the survival rate's higher, right?
The survival rate's higher. And there you see the acorn. It's probably still providing food.
That's crazy.
It's still attached there.
They also mentioned they have a pond system that's here, right? We didn't catch this because we were running in the cart earlier, but they have a...
We have a terrace system that is connected with 5 or 6 different lakes and ponds, and we pump out of one major lake into the smaller ponds, and all of the water that is used for the irrigation is recirculated and reclaimed after it goes through a constructed wetland of prairie cordgrass and cattails and buttonbush, and it goes into that reservoir and is reused.
Self-cleaning, sustainable water system.
Self-cleaning.
That's
yes.
amazing. Very cool. Can you tell us your name?
Wayne Lovelace.
Wayne Lovelace, and you started out farming the neighbors?
Well, when I grew up on the adjoining farm, which at one time belonged to my grandfather.
Okay.
And I was living there, and they were starting nursery, and they were hiring kids to pull weeds, and so I was 14 years old, came over and started pulling weeds.
Pulling weeds.
Haven't progressed any since. That's what I do today.
Sure. Well, I thought he was walking by with a cup of coffee. Show us what you got.
looking for acorns from some of our parent trees.
Very cool. So you eventually purchased this from,
The Stevenson family,
okay,
but I've spent my whole life here, other than 4 years out for college.
very cool.
Yeah.
The 203? Yeah. Do you actually see it? So there's the house, and there's the Billy Collins container,
Yeah.
the green roof.
That's crazy.
We're out of the 203. We just grabbed, this is half the load of trees. We've got cypress and overcup oak, and what we want to do is create a screen to block the house and the shed behind you, or behind the camera, and then the edge of this field. So if we do decide to drive down that levee, we don't push everything out. They seem to be, they're a little vulnerable when they can see people. They just tend to leave a little easier. But we got an exciting day. We got an exciting weekend, really. We are gonna get the other group of trees unloaded. We are gonna go play golf, Sunset Valley up in the hills here. We got a shrimp boil planned for tonight. A whole bunch of guys from the shop and friends that help out here, they're coming out as well. We're gonna get up tomorrow, and tomorrow's opening day. So we're gonna jump out, I think, in this pool and see what we can do. But great time of the year. Exciting. It is opening morning 2024, and we are freaking pumped up. There's a lot of work that goes into this. We are going to go out there. It's kind of calm, shifty winds this morning. It's going to be sunny, probably pretty. Might not be the opening day we were hoping for, but given the birds are brand new, it should be pretty good. And this whole week actually looks great. Tomorrow it's like 10 to 20 out of the south. Monday is rain. Any precip down here is typically pretty good. But follow along. We're going to go out to 203 and see what happens this morning. And opening day 2024. Duck season's here.